Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video, and in this video I'm going to be talking all about my toxic job. So if you guys weren't here or saw the video where I talked about, okay, we're not going to touch my hair a million times in this video, let me just fix it. I'm not obviously telling the story of my toxic job, that's already a video on my channel, but I do want to make this video to talk about, you know, almost a year later after quitting that toxic job, how I feel now. I'm going to talk about the two jobs I've had since then, and we're going to talk just all about it. Definitely would recommend though, before you guys watch this video, you probably should watch why I quit my job. I'll link it down below because I just don't think you'll understand how awful that job was. So probably watch that video first. So I was going to say, so after I quit my job, I ended up finding a job very fast. Like, I found a job about a week after officially quitting and being unemployed, and then I started that job like a month later. So I found a job really fast. I was going to say where it was that I worked because I don't work there anymore, and it's like a corporate, like it's like a big restaurant, but I decided not to because I feel like if I have some critiques for it, and I just don't want to like get in trouble. So we're not gonna say where, but I will tell you guys it was a restaurant, okay? And from some stuff I might describe, you guys might be able to piece together what it was if you're my friend or if you live where I live. I was hired on as a host. I obviously wanted to become a server somewhere, but that just didn't really happen because they were only hiring hosts, and I applied for the job, whatever. So we're going to talk about what I liked about the job, what I disliked, and then we're going to talk about the job I have now. So there wasn't much that I liked about it besides my coworkers and the location. The location was in a really like pretty area, and I also really liked my coworkers. So I feel like it was this really hard balance because I didn't know, like, I was like, okay, I'm really not making a lot of money, which we'll get into in the dislikes, but I also really like my coworkers and I like my managers. It's a positive place. I like being here, but it wasn't really doing it for me. So the dislike first is just the rules and all the guidelines that you had to follow. You couldn't paint your nails any color besides red or French tip, and I feel like that right there should tell you, like, gives you guys a big hint of where it was. You couldn't have like long acrylics, although a lot of girls got away with that. And the uniform was absolutely awful. It was an awful uniform. They were very strict. You couldn't have more than one ear piercing, couldn't have any nose piercings. That's why my nose piercing ended up closing. You could either have a bracelet or a necklace, one or the other, but if it was going to be a necklace, it had to not have any charms on it, so it literally could just be the chain. I don't know if I said this already, you couldn't dye your hair any like unnatural colors. There was just a lot of rules that just didn't, like, they were just ridiculous to me. They didn't tell me that those were the rules when they were like interviewing me. And then I got hired, and then I went to go pick up my uniform, and then he gave me like a handbook that had all their rules in it. And I was like, seriously? Like, this is just kind of ridiculous to me. And you might think to yourself, oh my god, is it really that big of a deal? You can't paint your nails, you can't dye your hair, you can't wear jewelry. But it's like, for a lot of people, that's like their self-expression, and that's like stuff that makes them feel very confident. And it's just kind of ridiculous that you couldn't express yourself in simple ways like that. So that sucked. Another dislike was that there was no opportunity. I had been asking to move up from a host for a while, and I was told by my manager, yeah, we'll move you up, let's start training you, but they were never going to do it. I don't think I would have ever became like, if I was still working there now, I don't think I'd still be a server at this point. Like, it was just ridiculous. And since I was a host, we didn't get tips. The only way we would get tips is if like we did a to-go order and they tipped us, we got to keep it. And we had like an ice cream parlor in there, and if someone tipped us in the ice cream parlor, we also got to keep those tips. But like, people don't really tip for either of those things. So no tips, minimum wage, and I had to work 8-hour shifts. The hours, I had to work 8-hour shifts, sometimes longer, which I know a lot of people work 8-hour shifts, but now I still don't even have to do that. And on Saturdays and Sundays, I started at 7 a.m. on Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Sundays, and that would mean I'm waking up at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., which was just ridiculous. Like, every single time Saturday would come, I would absolutely dread, like it would be Monday and I'm already dreading Saturday because I have to wake up that early to go to go host. Are you kidding me? Nah. Last thing was, they got incredibly busy, especially summertime. On the weekends, they were incredibly busy. We would have wait lists of like 30 different people. Like, I'm not joking, like 30 people, and it was just it was crazy. It was way too much work for nothing. Like, for nothing. Like, I'd look at my paychecks and I'd be like, huh? I filled out a form to put in my 2 weeks, and then my manager, one of the other managers, was talking to me and was like, hey, like, why do you want to put in your 2 weeks? Like, you know, you're a great worker, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, honestly, like, I've been talking to this manager, and you know, they've been promising me they're going to move me up, and I just don't think they're going to. And we kind of worked out a deal where with the main manager, the general manager, he had said to me, you know, how about like you put your 2 weeks in, but you can stay on this, like, we can keep you on the schedule for 1 day a week, and then if you want to pick up shifts you can, and blah blah blah. And I said yes, and I actually picked up like 2 or 3 shifts after I officially like was supposed to be like quit, but then I just stopped picking up shifts and I didn't want to work anymore because it was insane. I had been applying to new jobs already, looking for a serving job, and this is where the best job of my life so far comes in. Okay, so I had been applying, and before I had officially like quit or stopped working there, I actually was getting shifts at my new job now. So like, I would work like an 8-hour shift at this restaurant, and then I would have to go and work this other job for like 4 or 5 hours, which was really tiring. Like, kudos to you guys who have 2 jobs. Like, that is crazy. Like, I can't do that. I can't. So quit that job. That's in the past. Now we have my new job. Worked here for about 5 months, I want to say. I don't know the exact month I started working there, but I have a rough estimate. It's like 5 months. And let's start with what I like. So I'm a server, making. Now, I know that I'm not trying to like brag about like how much money I make, but it is important to kind of talk about it, just because I was stuck in this really bad dilemma for a really long time of whether do I stay working for a job where I really love the people and the environment and make literally no money, or do I go to a job where I can actually make some good money? And it was the right choice in the end, because on top of making more than minimum wage plus tips, I'm a server, so I do make tips, I love the people I work with. I love my managers. They're the sweetest people ever. I've never been like just like uplifted more than this job and like told when I'm doing a good job. Like, a lot of places, like my first serving job, the toxic place, I was never told. I was told good job maybe one time. Like, I didn't get like no good job, no pat on the back, and it's like, okay, I'm doing in my opinion, I'm doing an amazing job. I'm being a great server, and for what? For what? To be yelled at the second I do one thing wrong? Okay, we can't go off on that tangent, but I just really thought about it, and I was like, this job right now is amazing. Also, I'm really knowledgeable about all the food that we sell. I really enjoy the food. You know, when you are passionate about whatever it is that you're selling, serving, or whatever, and you like the company that you work for, like, you're unstoppable, because you're gonna want to do good every single time you're at work. So that's amazing. Dislikes, honestly, there's really no dislikes besides one thing, and that is that our schedule gets put out the night before. So, for example, today is Sunday. I didn't find out my schedule for today and the rest of the week until last night at 9 o'clock, which is like literally insane. I've never had a job before that doesn't tell me like at least 2 weeks in advance what I'm gonna work the next, which I think is really frustrating, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal if my schedule stays the same anyways. Yeah, so now let's answer it, right? Let's answer. Do I regret quitting my toxic job? No, not even for a second, you guys. I think when you're stuck in this toxic cycle, as I said before, you just get really numb to the pain and you just think, well, it's really not that big of a deal the way I'm being treated, but it is. And if you're stuck in like a toxic situation like this, your time will come. I know if it's a toxic job or even a toxic relationship, you're like, I'll leave, I'll quit, I'm done, I hate this, and then you just kind of keep staying because you're comfortable in it. Isn't it crazy you can be like comfortable in pain? Okay. Yeah, you're comfortable, so you don't leave. But I'm telling you guys, once the timing is right and you decide to leave and you finally decide to take that leave, it'll be amazing. If I would have stayed with my first job and never left to the second one, then to my third one now, if it was now and I was still stuck at that toxic job, I would have been miserable because who knows how long this quarantine is gonna last, and I would have been stuck there. I literally wouldn't have been able to quit because no one's hiring besides grocery stores. I don't want to go work in a grocery store. I've worked in one before. It's not that fun. I think it's even worse now. It is. So what I'm trying to say is, if I wouldn't have quit, I could have still been working there to this day and been stuck in this cycle for who knows how long. I can't even leave if I wanted to because I wouldn't have a job. So I guess the moral of the story, you guys, is it can be hard to get out of those situations, but I've never been happier with a job. I've never liked a job more. I've never liked who I'm working for more than I do now. And you guys are gonna find that job for you. So don't think just because you are comfortable with where you are doesn't mean that you need to stay there. The longer you stay there, the harder it is gonna be to get out. I can promise you guys that times 1,000. When you start seeing those red flags, start looking for another job. Find a job, a company that you like to work for. Not every single company management is gonna be bad. I promise you that. You're gonna find someone that you absolutely love to work for, and you couldn't imagine working for anyone else if it's like in the same field that you work for. So listen to the red flags. And with my second job that I got, actually, the first job, my first serving job, taught me to look for the red flags. So then when I worked at the place where I was hosting, I saw red flags. I saw what the problems were. I quit, and now I have a new job, and I love my job now, okay? So that's it. That's the end of this. Moral of the story, follow your heart, I'm telling you. And I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.